Namaste and welcome to React Bits. Today we will look at the first installation of Appwrite and then we will use it to connect to our Flutter applications. In the process, we will learn the very basics of how we can connect our Flutter application to Appwrite, as well as what are the problems or errors that we might face and how to handle them. So in the Appwrite community, we have been getting a lot of questions regarding few common errors in Flutter+Appwrite connection issues. So in this tutorial, we'll look at those issues and we'll look at what they are and how we can handle them. First, I'll start by running this script that we can get from Appwrite official docs in order to create a fresh installation of Appwrite in my local system. So it could not find the image, it will pull this image and it will install Appwrite. Let me get back to you when this completes. Once the image is pulled, it will ask us bunch of questions regarding our server setup. So our default HTTP port, let it be 80, HTTPS port 443, secret API key, as this is local installation, I don't care, I'll just use secret. Host name, it's localhost, DNS record, localhost. So now it's running our Appwrite installation. It might take some time and it might even take longer for you because the Docker Compose file has lots of other Docker images. If you are doing this for the first time, it will have to pull all of those Docker images and it will take quite some time. Once you run the installation script, in the working directory, it will create a folder called Appwrite. So let me cd into Appwrite and then let's run ls. So if I run ls, I can see that there is one file called dockercompose.aml. So this is the file that runs our Docker stack with Appwrite 0.7.2. Now what we can do is we can see that our Appwrite instance is running correctly by using the Appwrite's inbuilt docker command. To do that, from the directory where Appwrite is installed. So inside your Appwrite directory where the Docker Compose file is located, you can run, let me clear, Docker Compose exec, that means execute Appwrite. This is our service name in Docker Compose file, and then Docker. So if we run Docker, we can see we are running Docker for version 0.7.2, checking for production best practices. So we are not in production, so hostname has no public suffix, that's fine. CNAME target, that's fine. Unique secret key, that's okay. We are okay. Environment is set for production, that's good. Abuse protection is enabled, that's good. Console access limits are disabled. Okay, we can limit this. HTTP force option is enabled, so we will access our localhost via HTTPS. So database is connected, queue is connected, cache is connected, antivirus is disconnected. So ClamAV is having some issues, so we need to disable it. StatsD, InfluxDB, all other things are okay, it's running good. So let me open up our Docker Compose file. I'll be using Vim. You can use Visual Studio Code or any other text editor of your choice. Okay, so if we look at the services, we have lots of different things. We have traffic, we have Appwrite, we have different workers of Appwrite if we go down. So we have Appwrite worker usage, so many things. So in order to disable ClamAV, we need to do few things. First, remove this depends on. Under Appwrite service on depends on, remove ClamAV, and then if we go down, we can find ClamAV service. So okay, MariaDB, Redis, and here is ClamAV. So I can delete all these. So I delete ClamAV. Let's go down. Everything else is fine. And one more thing we need to do. Let's save this. I can save. Now we have one more file, .env file, which we did not see when we did ls. We can do ls-a to see our .env file. So let me open that. In order to disable ClamAV, we need to do one more thing, that is change this environment variable. So app storage antivirus disabled instead of enabled. So let me save. Now what I can do, docker compose up-d -- remove orphans. So this will remove AppWrite ClamAV, and it will restart our AppWrite stack. Now we can access our AppWrite stack using localhost. The first thing you need to notice is that this message, the certificate authority invalid. This is because in the localhost, the traffic will supply self-signed certificates which are blocked by most of the modern browsers. In order to get over this, we can just go to advanced and we can proceed to localhost unsafe. Now we can see our AppWrite instance. Let's run AppWrite doctor as well. So now we can see SMTP is disconnected. We have no message regarding antivirus because we are not using it. So it's good. One more thing we can do is we can see the logs of our AppWrite container whenever we have some error and we want to see the details. We can do that by using exec docker compose logs AppWrite. If you see this, so first time it tried to get account, ran into exception, and then we are seeing this sign in page. So we can sign up. Let me name this okay. By signing up, I can say sign up, and we have our new account. Let me create a new project as well. Just call it Flutter+Appwrite. Okay, let me exit this terminal. Now we have our Flutter+Appwrite project. So let me create a new Flutter project. So let me create basics. It's creating the project. Let me open this in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let us see how we can connect this for the first time and what errors we might receive and how to handle them. And there are quite a few things we need to handle. First, let us add the dependency. So we can add here, not environment, on the dependencies, AppWrite 0.4.0, and we can run flutter pub get if it is not ran automatically. So it's run, and we can see that. Let me just initialize get init. Okay, let me remove the comments, remove all comments, and let me make first commit. Okay, so first let us see how we can connect and test with emulator. Let me start an emulator. I have my emulator here. So let's get few things. In order to connect to AppWrite, first we'll need our project ID, and then our, let's go to settings, and we need our project ID, and then endpoint, we know localhost /v1. So let's set it up here. So let's use my home page instead. Let me create, this is our project ID, localhost/v1. This is our endpoint. So the first thing to notice will be, if you are running on an Android emulator, instead of localhost you'll need to use 10.0.2.2. so this is the equivalent of localhost. So if we use localhost, it will instead try to connect to the localhost of this emulator, not our computer. So the localhost of our development machine is proxied with this address into our emulator, so we need to use this. So this is the first thing to notice while running on the emulator. We have the project ID and emulator. We can easily create a request. So let me just create a request here. We'll call this login, and here we can initialize our client and everything. So first, client, set endpoint will be our endpoint, set project will be our project ID. Okay, let's create a demo user here. If we go to users and let's create a test user, and let us register. Now we'll try to log in. So we'll create account equals account, and then here we'll try to run account dot create session. Email will be, so this will be our email and password. Let me make this async. Okay, we have our login function. So instead of increment in floating action button, I just like to call login. Okay, let's see what issue we might run into. Let us run our project. So if I tap this now, we'll run into an error. So if we check at the error message, we'll see something like handshake exception, certificate invalid. So this again is the issue with self-signed certificate, because we are running in our local machine with, and this is only recommended for development machine. So what we can do is, see, we get this error message, unhandled exception, instance of Appwrite exception. First, let us see how we can handle this error. So try, and then on Appwrite exception, catch E, and then print error message. And let's print code as well. Let's print error message and code. So let's try, let's hot reload and try again. So let's just go this. So we get the error message is certificate verify failed, unable to get local issuer certificate, and then error code is null. That's fine. So we know this is certificate related error. So locally, when we have self-signed certificate, we can easily get over this error with, here in client we can say set self-signed. If we call this now and hot reload, now we can tap login. So we get 403. So this is not certificate error. Next, so this is first issue that we might run into because of self-signed certificate. Next issue, that we have not added our project or platform to the Appwrite console. So we get the ID here. So this is our application ID. We can also find that in our build.gradle. So this is our application ID. We need to copy this, and then in home we can find something called platforms, and here we need to add new Flutter app, Android, and then we need to pass in our package name, register. So now if we tap this, we should easily be able to create a session. So let's check. So we are not printing anything. Let's print this res data. Let's print the data what we get back. So we should get back session. See, we correctly create a session and get back our session details. So this is second issue that we might run into. So this is 1, the URL, and then this is 2, regarding self-signed certificate, and 3 is platform 2 on our project. So we need to add Appwrite platform on our project. This is third issue that we might run into. Another issue that we already tackled will be ClamAV issues with storage. So we saw in Appwrite Doctor that our ClamAV was not running properly. If we had not properly disabled ClamAV as we did, then when we try to upload any files to our Appwrite storage, we will run into error due to ClamAV. So this is another issue that we might run into. And finally, we'll look at how we can run into Flutter Web. Let me exit this. Let me close this emulator. And instead of this, let's try web. Okay. And first thing, when we go to web, instead of this, we need to again use localhost. So endpoint, what I'd like to do is, if web, then localhost /v1, otherwise this. We can again here check platform is Android or those kind of things. Right now this is fine. So now let us run in web. Okay. If we try to log in now, again we'll receive an error. This time we'll not see that it is certificate error, but this XML HTTP request error is due to again self-signed certificate error, because we are trying to access HTTPS. And how to resolve this is from the browser instance that is opened by our Flutter run. So this browser is opened by Flutter run. Here just try to access localhost, and again you will run into the same issue that we ran before. We can go to advanced and we can proceed. Now that we have accepted this certificate, we can get back here, we can tap login, and successfully we get our session. So fifth issue, same browser instance as the Flutter Web is running. So once we access this, we will be able to connect to our Appwrite backend. So I hope this video will help you solve some common issues with Flutter and Appwrite connections, and help you debug your Appwrite and build a great application with Flutter and Appwrite. Don't forget to mention what you build, show off what you have built in the comment section. And if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. See you again soon in the next episode. Thank you.